another incredible video. If you're new, I'm Lauren and it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to give me a like, share and subscribe so you don't miss out on my videos. Alright, we've done today I'll be checking out another part of this Finnish history. We'll be checking out another part of Finnish history, and this is the part 3. I actually started with the Stone Age, we did the Vikings Age, and today we'll be doing the Bronze Age. Alright, so I really can't wait to check this out with you. It's great, it's really enlightening to find out about the history of Finland and where they started to where they are today. I mean, the cause of their rise today. So without further delay, do let me know what you think about this video right in the comment section. If there are more details to it than it is portrayed, please do put them right there in the comment section, and do keep your recommendations posted. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Let's do this.
The Bronze Age in Finland starts with the High King Seppo Kalevanpoika wielding a bronze sword and conquering the land. That put an immediate stop to the use of stone tools, and the Bronze Age had started. Well, not really. The use of bronze tools and weapons started spreading to the area of present-day Finland around 1500 BCE.
That's way back.
We like to name these different eras Stone Age, Bronze Age and so on, but it's not like the appearance of a new material suddenly ended the use of the previous.
No.
And such is the case with the turn of the Stone Age to Bronze Age. Unlike stone and later on iron,
Alright guys, I'm really sorry to chip in here. Stone Age, Bronze Age, truly it doesn't really stop, it doesn't really ended the use of these materials as the video portrays, because people still use stone throws, people still do stone throws till today. And growing up as children, stones are actually the easiest weapons to use, and irons are still used even to this day, so it doesn't really prevent the use. So what I don't get is why call it Stone Age, Bronze Age when all these materials are still used till date. Alright, this is amazing.
Ingredients for bronze, copper and tin were not easily available in Finland, and the metal was mostly imported. Because of the trouble of resourcing it, stone tools prevailed along metal for a good while. And it's only fitting then that stone was one of the first metal bands in Finland, among the early pioneers of what would develop into an internationally renowned music scene. It would, however, take a while before metal became mainstream culture, so at first the beginning of the Bronze Age saw very little change in people's lives. Climate change, however, had shrunk the population, and fewer sites of human habitation are known than from the Stone Age, nor have they discovered a great number of bronze objects. With the changing climate, the flora and fauna changed as well. The nowadays common spruce spread successfully, while the number of mammals in the woods dropped, as did the number of seals, which were important game animals. Just like the Stone Age, people still lived close to waterways and good hunting and fishing grounds. International trade, although international is not the right word, as nations hadn't been invented yet, started to grow, centering around bronze and amber. The trade network spread not only across the bay to Sweden, but all the way from the Baltic Sea to the Mediterranean, which undoubtedly spread cultural influence too, and probably faced fierce opposition from the primitive ancestors of today's Finns party. The Bronze Age culture was different in eastern and western Finland, with agriculture being more prominent in the west. The west was more heavily influenced by its Scandinavian connections, while the east was more connected to the Bronze Age culture in modern-day Russia. Houses became more and more permanent, usually appearing as single houses, but occasional groups or villages are known too. Some defensive hill forts were already in use during the Bronze Age, which suggests larger cooperation or small society than a single village could manage. Slash and burn farming was the common farming method. Farmed crops included barley and wheat, and cows, sheep, goats and pigs were kept as domestic animals, while dogs were kept for hunting purposes as well as companions. The animals would have looked a bit different back then, maybe something like this, I don't really know. The Bronze Age likely saw major changes in people's beliefs as the spread of agriculture and permanent settlements required new kinds of deities compared to a pure hunter-gatherer society. The harvest became more and more crucial for survival, and Ukko would take on the role of its protector, although when exactly I cannot say. Further evidence of changing beliefs comes from new burial customs. Burial mounds or barrows start to appear, as well as burning of the bodies later on. The burial mounds called hiidenkiukaat start to appear around the turn of the Stone Age to Bronze Age, along the coastline which was more closely in contact with the Scandinavian Bronze Age peoples. Some of these mounds, but not all by any means, contain objects. Similar mounds but in rectangular shape are called church floors, and similar mounds deeper inland are called Lapland's ruins. Lapland, or Lappi, used to mean wilderness, more or less. Burying the dead under heavy stones could indicate a desire to prevent the dead from returning to harass the living. Such beliefs were common later on and have been well documented, but of course with the Bronze Age we cannot say for sure. The graves were often built gradually, first for one member of the family and later to be expanded with more bodies. The word hiidenkiuas means roughly troll stove, as in the stove of the sauna. Hiisi, however, was originally not a troll but a sacred place. As one might guess, the church tainted this word later on to describe a malicious creature. And I guess it's the latter Hiisi which gives its name to the burial mounds. Bronze was of course precious, and the ownership was likely limited to people of high status and wealth. As the existence of the large trade network suggests, the Bronze Age people went to great lengths in acquiring it. Bronze objects were, however, not only imported but also crafted locally. The imported swords and daggers that have been found are similar in design to weapons in Europe, as the metal culture in Finland only started to take unique shape later on in the Iron Age. We don't know much about the language, but it is thought that the Baltic Finnic languages started to take shape and diverge into Proto-Sami and Proto-Finnish, according to Ilari Aalto, contrary to what I said in the Stone Age episode. Aalto further explains that the Proto-Sami was the first of the two to spread to most of Finland, which explains Sami place names even in southern Finland. That more or less concludes the Bronze Age at around 500 BCE. As I said earlier, little change initially compared to the Stone Age, and the division is maybe a little artificial. The Bronze Age and the beginning of the Iron Age are, for that reason, sometimes called the Early Metal Age. Think Black Sabbath, Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. This has been the second episode of the animated history of Finland. By becoming a member of the channel, you will get to give me all your monetary possessions and get to see these before anyone else. Isn't that lovely? Consider subscribing to not miss the coming episodes, and in the meantime check out my other videos about Finnish mythology and history. There are several ways you can rid yourself of your hard-earned money to support the channel in exchange for what they call merchandise. Buy a lot and I will become rich. Otherwise, I will see you in the next episode.
Alright guys, I've heard about Stone Age, I've heard about Bronze Age, but I never really knew the Stone Age went so deep into making graves with stones and burying the dead. Stones were actually used to prevent the dead from returning. Wow, this is a great one, guys. It was quite enlightening. History is one of the greatest thing. Is one of the greatest part of a people. It's what actually defines us. It's really great. Finding out more about Finland, finding out more about Finnish mythology, culture, and the earlier days, the frontier days of Finland. Is really amazing. I mean, it gives a better understanding of who they are today, and it's a great depiction of where they've been and how far they've come today. So it's really amazing finding out all this. Please do let me know if you think there are more details to this than portrayed. And if you have any recommendation, do keep them posted. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Don't forget that I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in my next video. I remain your
Reaching for the sky, we're unstoppable.